It always helps, though, to start your day at a good old Soviet hotel with a beautiful Soviet mosaic, good Soviet meal. Today, we're going to be riding the metro into, we gotta get to the train station, so we gotta get to Mogilev. Davai.
So if you clicked on this video, you must be curious. What is Soviet maxing? Well, I'm the Borsch Bandit, and I travel across the former Soviet Union to visit the remnants of the Soviet past. And of course, while I meet the friendly Soviet people along the way. And today I'm coining this new term, Soviet maxing. In other words, how many Soviet things can I see in a given day? And today we are traveling to Mogilev, the provincial capital city of the Mogilev Oblast in Belarus, to try a bit of Soviet maxing for ourselves. Now, I'll warn you ahead of time. At the time of filming this vlog, I had no idea how to properly pronounce Mogilev. So please do not take a shot of alcohol for every time I mispronounce Mogilev, or that would be very bad for your health.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's always a cool thing to just watch a bunch of families, welcome each other, after a long journey. Makes you appreciate the little things in life, That being said, I think I saw the hotel on the way in on the train, but I don't know how we're gonna get there. So maybe I'll see if I can call a taxi. But yo, check this out. We got a Soviet car. We finally found one. I think this is the first Soviet car of the trip. Absolutely beautiful piece of Soviet machinery there. Who doesn't love a solid Soviet car still on the road, still running strong? Thought I'd get a bit of a snack here before we head on to the hotel. But yeah, man, I can't stop thinking about that car. I want to buy it off them right now. What is this though? This looks good. It smells so sweet, so good. Oh my gosh, hold on. Что это по-русски? Как называется по-русски?
Сметаник.
Сметаник. Очень вкусный, очень вкусный. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Вопрос для вам. Это мой первый раз в этом город. У вас есть какие будут рекомендации? Да.
На вкус и цвет товарища нет.
Да. All right, y'all ready to see what 25 euros for a night gets you in Mogilev? When I was checking in, she was like saying, oh, yeah, Ireland. She just saw my passport, Irish passport. She says, that's so interesting. I don't think she's ever seen someone from with that passport here in Mogilev. But let's look at the bathroom here. All right, got a nice bathroom. Honestly, this is nicer than the last place, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, this is really, really nice, honestly, for the price, for 25 euros. For 25 euros, man. Look at this. We got a nice little desk here check out the view. Yes, we got a nice view right here. And this was a Soviet hotel. Of course, it's been rapidly renovated, but you cannot beat this for 25 euros. You've also got a TV up at the top, hung up there, nice for comfortable viewing. Hey man, you can't beat it. Let's find at least one good Soviet gym before we head to sleep, and then start our full journey here to tomorrow. Just a good old little Soviet city, right? Just love this vibe. It's cool how you can just pick up the same vibe in so many different places all over the world. But it's always a little bit different. The question is, how different is it going to be here in Mogilev? Здравствуйте.
Ну, слушаем вас по 5 и 10.
Сколько стоит?
Это васильки.
Не, сколько дадите? Дай вязать. 7 штук.
Отлично, красивый, очень красивый. Спасибо.
Это я нарвала, думала завтра букет сделать.
Да.
Ну, раз вы хотите уже.
Вы знаете, где памятник Ленин?
Памятник Ленин?
Памятник Ленин. Tom, okay. Спасибо вам, спасибо вам.
5 рублей.
Спасибо вам.
Спасибо вам.
Like even the good old Soviet park designs, there's just something really cool. I don't know if it's maybe the time frame that this was made or if it's just the Soviet style in general. But I think this is going to be up here. I haven't seen it yet. I want it to be on film when I see it for the first time. Oh, here we go. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at it. You got that sickle and hammer up at the top of the building as well. Look at how, I don't know if you can capture how big this is. You see that guy over there? Maybe that can give you like a gauge for size, how big this thing is. Of course, there might be bigger Lenins out there, the monument itself, but this is a very big square. Very, very big for little old Mogilev. It's been far too long, Lenin. Our good old comrade Lenin. And of course, up at the top there, if you see, I like to look at the seal sometimes, you can clearly see it's BSSR. This was in the Belarusian Soviet Socialist Republic, so of course it says BSSR. What does this say here? Look, it says 1957. So this has been here since 1957. They had a sign I was just reading there about the local history, and apparently when they built this was actually on the outskirts of the city, and they attracted the best architects from all across the Soviet Union here to design this. And the monument itself was sculpted by a artist from Baku, Baku, Azerbaijan. Perhaps one of the most interesting parts that I read was there was a point, I believe, maybe just right before the Great Patriotic War or during, or sometime around that time, that Mogilev actually was about to become the capital of Belarus. So, it was almost a completely different universe, right? We would have been going to Minsk as the smaller city instead of, and we would have been spending probably most of our time here in Mogilev, but fate worked out differently, and of course today is not the capital of Belarus, but still, this square here, this Lenin Square, could have very easily become the center of Belarus, which I find very fascinating. Just like I was saying in the video yesterday, in Vilnius, maybe there used to be some monuments like this in Vilnius, but they took them all down. But here in good old Mogilev, or as I'm calling it today, Mogilev, we don't have that problem. Lenin is still standing here, strong, stoic, decisive, everything that you want from a revolutionary leader. To honor our comrade Vladimir Lenin, here we'll lay our first bouquet of flowers here in memory of our comrade Lenin, out of respect. Today we'll give him the Borsch Bandit salute. Good morning, Mogilev. We're here. We got a lot to see. We got to get started now, or we're not going to hit everything I want to see. So let's go. Davai. This is hell. This is my choice. Hell energy drink. I'll be honest, I don't really feel comfortable getting this, but I'm really sleepy. I'm really tired. It's been a long trip, and I might not have any other choice, unfortunately.
We'll need to get one of these for later. Y'all will see why soon enough.
I have to get another one of these because, man, they were so good like yesterday. Holy cow. You got to try these next time you're here in Belarus. And I'm trying to keep my muscles strong, so I saw these. Maybe, looks like these are smoked eggs. Smoked eggs. Let's see, I'll just get like the basic pack here. Looks like a good Zavtrak. Good breakfast. That's the Russian word for breakfast.
They've got some Cheburashka candies. Cheburashka was a Soviet cartoon character. We'll be talking about him more.
Yeah. Извините. Можно мне пакет, пожалуйста, тоже? I came in here for a quiet beer, and he found out I was from Ireland, and now he's given me a free beer and everything, and just refusing payment. Incredible hospitality here in Belarus. Like, honestly, I love this so much.
Как называете?
По-русски?
По-русски.
Рыбацкая.
Рыбацкая. Рыбацкая. Спасибо вам. Спасибо вам. За здоровье. За Беларусь. За Беларусь. Oh, that's awesome. Вкусный, очень вкусный.
Ленин. Спасибо. О, не. no, this, no, really. Можно на YouTube, да, спасибо вам, очень, я благодарю вам, товарищ. Спасибо вам. I just want to say, while I'm sitting here waiting on my taxi to the next destination, that, you know, of course, given your man at the cafe, of course, if you're watching this, sir, thank you so much. Vladimir, thank you so much. Spasibo большое. And, but he's not, you know, just the only one. This entire country is insanely hospitable. It's insanely welcoming. It's insanely friendly. And it makes you almost want to tear up when you really think about how just incredible these people are. And that's going to be a continuous theme, I'm sure, throughout our videos. So thank you to Belarus and his people. Областная библиотека. That's actually not Russian. That is the Belarusian language, which you will see here throughout traveling here, on mostly on signs, unless you speak Belarusian, and I'm sure many people do speak it. But yeah, let's go inside because there should be a Soviet treat inside. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Можно мне видеть это окно?
Да.
Да. Это советский, да? Советский, sorry. Да. Спасибо вам. Gotta climb the stairs up here to get to the top so we can see it from the top here. She said, wow, look at that. Look at that, the nuclear atom. I believe that's just, wow. Just visualizing the science.
You know, this Soviet stained glass window from 1974 was clearly put here in this library to inspire future scientists and to celebrate the scientific achievements of the Soviet Union. Remember, this was the first country that went to space. They industrialized into a nuclear superpower. They had a very long list of achievements in nearly every single sector of science. You know, so hopefully here in Belarus today, this window is still inspiring future scientists to reach for the stars. One of the cooler and more underrated parts of Belarus is the fact that there's these outdoor gyms just dotted around the country, all across the different towns. And I mean, hey, on a sunny day, what better place is there to be than, you know, keeping your workouts up to date when you're going around on the Soviet maxing journey, right? Check this out, Zavod. And then down below it says Ordena Trudnova Krasneva Znamenia, which I believe means the Red Order of Labor or something to that effect. This, of course, is a factory. And of course, as we know, the industry here in Belarus after the fall of the Soviet Union was never shut down. It continued. And thankfully for us, so did some of the signs and everything else. I mean, how cool is this? Just a nice little thing right on the road. I wasn't even expecting this. I just happened to pass it on the way. Badass sign, base as hell. Love it. Love to see it. People ask me all the time, you know, I want to travel the former Soviet Union. Do I really need to speak Russian? Well, you know, technically you don't have to, but I would strongly advise it. There's so many situations that it's just going to make your life so much easier.
Извините, вы знаете, где мужской туалет?
Мужской туалет?
Да.
Вот сейчас идете,
Да.
поворачиваете,
Окей.
повернули и прямо,
Да.
упретесь рыбный павильон
Окей, павильон.
и налево.
Спасибо вам.
И там увидите туалет.
Спасибо вам. Я благодарю вас.
Смотрите, Оксана с мяском на распродаже.
Нет, спасибо.
А что надо?
Нет, спасибо. Нет, спасибо. Нет, спасибо. До свидания.
This isn't Western Europe. Most people don't speak English, and while translator apps can be helpful, people will be telling you important information that you will not understand if you don't speak Russian.
Надо салка какой-нибудь.
Нет, спасибо. Нет, спасибо.
And I don't just mean people trying to sell you meat at the market, I'm talking about border checks.
Свининку выбираем, ребра мясные.
Нет, спасибо. До свидания. До свидания.
I'm talking about people helping you get where you need to go. I'll never forget going to Tiraspol Pridnestrovia with only 365 days of Duolingo, and to tell you that I was unprepared is an understatement. Of course, I met my best Russian teacher I ever had there in Tiraspol, thankfully, and I took lessons with her for about a year and a half until she went on maternity leave. But not everyone has the budget or the time for weekly Russian lessons from a teacher like that. But I have found an app that I've been using that reminds me so much of my Russian teacher that I think this is actually probably the best way forward for Russian learning. And this is the app that I'm using now, because it actually teaches you practical skills like being able to understand directions. So I'm able to find this toilet right now so I can use it. This all started when I met this Russian language educator and her American partner who put their expertise together to design Mishka as a new comprehensive Russian learning platform with basically everything that I need to improve my Russian. Vocabulary is by far the most important skill set in actually using a language, and I always struggled with it, mostly because flashcards took time to create and manage. But with Mishka, I can easily add words that I don't know from the various exercises with a quick tap of the finger, sending them straight into my flashcard deck for studying. And I can also practice live conversational exercises, simulating real-world situations. But there's so many other features I don't even have time to talk about, but I will make a more dedicated video on this soon. In the meantime, if you'd like to try this app out for a free month trial, you can use my code Borsch Bandit to sign up. But with that said, let's get back to some old Soviet maxing.
I want to stress that so many people in Belarus have way nicer cars than what I have or what I would ever be able to afford over in Ireland where I live. But, you know, you do see some good, unique gems here, like this East German. This isn't just a Soviet car. This is a communist East German car. Let's come look at the hood here. Of course, the tire looks like it's flat, so I don't think it's driving anytime soon, but it's a Wartburg. I believe it's a Wartburg 353, but it might not be. If you know better, leave it in the comments. But yeah, check this baby out, man. You know, of course, yeah, the tire's flat. It needs some work. But yeah, if we look inside, check that out. Beautiful, 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 beautiful car. Very beautiful car. Of course, it's from communist East Germany, and it's still on the road. It's still on the road. Пожалуйста. Here we are at the milk factory here in Mogilev. From what I read, this was opened by the Soviet Union in the 1970s, of course, to carry out the dairy processing. And right here on the side of this building here, this is a Soviet era sgraffito technique. That's what it's actually called. Of course, part of it was obscured by the window, I believe is what it says online. I don't know if it was originally like that. But yes, this is a Soviet era piece of artwork right here in the factory, courtesy of Atlas Sovieticus, which I use to find these pieces of Soviet artwork. So absolutely beautiful. Check out this milk truck. Malakwo. My favorite drink, milk. Got the Belarusian tractors running in the foreground. Who can beat that? And here, this is actually a Soviet era thing that I've noticed all across the former Soviet Union. You have all the different officials of people of authority here posted on this board. And I've seen even the abandoned Soviet factories across different places that they would have had the people here. So they're clearly keeping that tradition alive. And of course, just like many other industries here, you can see 1979 was when this was founded. Just like many industries here in Belarus, the state still has a lot of public ownership here of this plant because, of course, like I'll keep repeating it, after the Soviet Union collapsed, Belarus fortunately kept all the industry running, so there was not a lot of job losses and things like that that devastated other post-Soviet republics, you know, like Moldova or something like that. And then look, you can see here all across the different windows and things, there's the different, you know, Dniem Pobyedy, Victory Day, because, you know, of course, they're commemorating the Soviet victory over fascism here, which just a few weeks ago. It's proud to see this dairy factory is also commemorating that. We're not going to be able to have a tour today. You know, I would have had to call ahead and email ahead, of course, and then we'll probably keep that in mind for future oblasts and stuff we visit. But today I have this. This is actually produced right here, and in honor of this, Soviet, now Belarusian factory, I'm going to now drink this entire liter of milk. But you know why? Because I don't know if you know this about me, but I absolutely love milk. So in honor of the Mogilev industry and the milk industry, za zdrowie. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. just to show you I drank it. You know, I'm not lying. I'm a good milk drinker, man. I love milk. I've always said Ireland has the best milk in the world, but I really do believe that I think Belarus is giving Ireland a run for their money. You know, honestly, the milk here is so fresh and it's so good. It's an honor to be here today. Right before we get on our taxi, though, and get to the next monument, look, we got another beautiful Soviet car, another Lada, of course. Can't beat these. Здравствуйте. Добрый день. Добрый день. Да, пожалуйста, спасибо вам. What are you doing up there? I see you. Look at you. Look at you up there. What are you doing? Что ты делаешь? Что ты делаешь? Кошки. Что ты делаешь? We look at this. We've got another beautiful, beautiful Vladimir Lenin monument. Of course, I don't know if I've ever seen a Vladimir Lenin monument I don't consider to be beautiful. But look at this, with a beautiful house of culture in the background. And I've talked about this many times on my channel, and I'll continue to do so. The house of cultures were, of course, in the Soviet towns and cities. Those were areas that the communities could come together and do plays and concerts, and maybe even display works of art and things like that. It just is exactly what it says, the house of culture. So, you know, that's, of course, look at it. Look, it says 1938. So that was actually before the Great Patriotic War. This was built, I assume. Very beautiful building. Unfortunately, I spoke to the woman inside. She said I wasn't able to see it or see inside the building today. But yes, look at this. I mean, what a beautiful Soviet scene. And I don't even know if you see it in the background over here. We got a nice old Soviet car. Maybe go check that out. But look at this over here. Next to the House of Culture, you know, so obviously the House of Culture is for the bad weather, but I guess when the weather's good, this community here actually has an old Soviet outdoor amphitheater, you know. I'm sure this is, you know, but if you look by the age of it, it's got to be Soviet, right? I mean, wood does deteriorate kind of quick, but looks like it's all nice and painted. Just imagine all the wonderful cultural folk exhibitions that, you know, have probably held here on a regular basis. Who knows when the last one was? I don't know. If you know this part of Mogilev, let me know in the comments. When people say classic cars, for many, what might come to mind is the old 1950s Fords and Chevrolets over in America. Well, this was the Soviet Union's version. This was the Moskvitch. And what a beautiful classic car this is. I would love to own one myself. This lucky owner here seems to be keeping theirs on the road, seems to be giving them the love that it deserves. And, you know, it's always great to see these things still running. Starting to piss down here in Mogilev with the weather. I'm taking shelter under this tree. I think it's a good time to eat some smoked eggs. Oh boy, I can smell that smoke. Oh man, that's so much better than I was expecting, to be honest. Oh wow, that's a delicious way to eat an egg. Of course, here we are right here outside of a memorial to Alexander Kirov, who was one of the old Bolsheviks and was a loyal communist and revolutionary. After his assassination, that would actually go on to contribute to what was then go on to be known as the Great Purge under Joseph Stalin. Here's a monument to Kirov, most likely just from the Soviet times. I don't know if there's a specific reason here at this point in time why this monument is here, but no doubt this is an important monument to an important Soviet old Bolshevik. Здравствуйте. Я хотел бы купить красную гвоздику, пожалуйста.
Сколько штук?
Один, пожалуйста. Да. Спасибо. I'm just waiting for my taxi here, but you know, if you keep your eye out, you can find these kind of like little mini plaques dotted around, not just in Belarus, but other places in the Soviet Union, unless they've removed them, of course, and just talks about, you know, they named this road after one of the marshals of the Soviet Union. You know, but yeah, just keep your eyes out for the types of stuff. Oh my, wow. Look at this. I'm absolutely surprised because, you know, I've been using an app called Atlas Sovieticus that details Soviet art, but this was not on the map. But look at this. It's a beautiful, beautiful Soviet mosaic up there. October, of course, that means, you know, October, which I assume depicting the October Revolution. Of course, you know, the events leading up to the building of socialism, the overthrow of capitalism, and the formation of the Soviet Union. And you know what, now that I get up a lot closer, if you go and look up the words here, let's try to zoom in here if I can show you. So you have, at the left, you have chleb, Zemlya, mir, svoboda. Of course, that means land, bread, peace, freedom. Those were the promises of the Bolsheviks during the Red October Revolution, which this mosaic is very, very clearly depicting. Just an incredible piece of artwork here, and I'm so happy to see this. Of course, I'm so happy to be in a country that has painstakingly preserved this very, very important history for us all to watch. It's a very small detail, but I just want to say I'm extremely impressed with all these flower baskets going all the way down the bridge. You know, that takes work, that takes attention to detail, that takes planning. That, you know, someone had to actually come in here and plant all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flowers. And I just think that it's incredible that this country is looking after even the smallest details like that to make sure that things are nice and beautiful. I will keep saying it over and over again. It's very important that everyone understands that between 1 in 3 and 1 in 4 Belarusians lost their lives in the Great Patriotic War. That means that they had the highest ratio of who sacrificed their lives so that we could live in a world that's not run by fascism. Mogilev specifically was a location of a heroic Soviet defense. It took over 3 weeks for the German forces to finally capture this area, but it was those 3 weeks that the brave Soviet men and women here held out against the Germans and played a pivotal role in the patriotic war of delaying the German advance. But while the Germans came in and administered their atrocities and carried out a horrific occupation, brave Soviet partisans, men and women, you know, held out resistance. And it was here in this city that the Germans were frantically trying to figure out how they could possibly do something about it. But good news is that they failed. And in 1944, this city was liberated by the Soviet heroes across the Soviet Union. And as I do in all of my videos and will continue to do so, I'm laying this flower here, this red carnation here, in respect and gratitude and immense thanks for the Soviet sacrifice of the heroes of Mogilev.
When you think about Soviet maxing, you're going to think about, of course, Lenin monuments, Soviet mosaics, other artwork dedicated to celebrating the cause of socialism. But here in Belarus, you can also get cool streets like Lenin Street, Leninskaya Ulitsa. And this is a perfect street to demonstrate what I think a lot of people don't realize about Belarus. And that is just how incredibly beautiful this country is, especially the cities like this one. Like, look at this. Look, is this what you picture when you're thinking of like Soviet Belarus? I mean, it's an incredibly beautiful place. Everything's perfectly clean. Everything's so well maintained. This is by far so much nicer than where I live right now in Belfast. And that's not an offense or slight to where I live in Belfast, but what we're dealing with here is a lot of dereliction and companies allowing historical buildings to fall apart and decay. But here in places like this, it's just like, you just can't help but feel angry. Like, I want my city to look this nice. I want my city to look this beautiful. And so if you're here, this is where all the cool bars and restaurants are. Definitely checked them out myself. Just enjoying a great evening here on Lenin Street.
Well, that's the end of our journey here in Mogilev. All I can say is thank you so much to this town for very friendly people. And thank you for helping me find hope in this world. Until next time, this journey continues, and we're going to the next region of Belarus. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and follow us on this journey.